Pardon? You wish to slay the Lord of Crags? We must slay him, Captain. The people of Laminsa are depending upon us. You fancy yourselves hero then, just like in the tales? Be not so quick to judge. Long have I laboured for the well-being of you and yours, and my associate here has bathed in Ifrit's hellfire and lived. She's blessed with a power that protects her from primal influence. Thus was she able to lay low the Lord of the Inferno. We know full well the risks, and have taken every possible precaution. We lack only the knowledge of how to enter Titan's lair. Pray be so good as to grant us the boon of your wisdom, and we shall be on our way. A woman who can't be tempered? Useful, but it will not be enough. It's true that the company of heroes fought and felled primals, but each victory was brought with the lifeblood of brave men and women. And Titan was the worst we face. Aye, we defeated him in the end, but he took from us some of the very best. Even if you possess the power you claim, I've no reason to believe you'll succeed. Believe what you will, we mean to try. Though our lives be forfeit, we'll not abandon Limsa to the wrath of Titan. You are passionate, I'll grant you that. And you deserved better than the greeting I gave you, but I'll not send you into Gomero on a whim. To be plain, I do not wish to see you give your lives in vain. At the very least, I must have assurances that you're more than common adventurers. I oversee security for Master Gegaruju's estates. Perhaps you can demonstrate your abilities by attending to one of our... Ye gods, man, have you heard nothing I said? We've not the time to perform trivial tasks. The enemy is at the gates. Do you imagine words can sway me, girl? If you dislike my conditions, then you're welcome to find your own way into Gomero. Though it pains me to admit it, I fear we have no choice but to acquiesce to this man's demands. Yet much remains to be done if we're to best Titan. Forgive me, but I must ask you to undertake this task alone. I will use the time to see the remaining preparations. Leaving the dirty work to others, are we? Very well. Pray do whatever the captain bids, however trifling. Remember, the fate of Limsa Lominsa hangs in the balance. Master Gegaruju's requests can be more demanding than you realise. Before I set you to your true task, I would like to verify that this won't be a waste of my time. A Nyx has recently been seen prowling the beach to the east. As you can imagine, my master does not want large slimy creatures anywhere near his lands. The beast is cunning, but you should have no difficulty luring out with a herring. Slay the Nyx and return to me. Oh, and don't forget to bring me a leg as proof of the kill. Well, did you deal with the Nyx? There you go. Lest you think me overly cautious for testing you in this way, you should know that we had an incident not long ago. A foolish young employee was dismissed for lying about his past. He claimed to have served in the company of heroes, but I know for a fact he did not. Anyway, now that the pointless busy work is finished, I shall give you a challenge as befits your talents. Two highly distinguished individuals are scheduled to visit Costa del Sol in the near future, and Master Gegaruju wishes to welcome them with an elaborate banquet. But while money is no object, not everything Master Gegaruju desires can be so easily purchased. It's to be an extremely exotic feast, and so your mission is to seek out and obtain the rare ingredients our chef requires. Naturally, such fine dining must be accompanied with a suitable wine, and by suitable I mean the very best there is. That, however, can wait for the time being, as I believe you have enough on your plate as it is. It will be a long and arduous journey, but you need not toil alone. Many of the mercenaries who once served under my command still live, and they will guide you in your quest. For the first ingredient, I'd have you travel to the South Shroud and speak with Landenel at Camp Tranquil. What? Do you mean to tell me that you cannot afford to waste time, as your associate did? Adventurer, if you've not the endurance to complete this mission, how do you expect me to believe that you can outlast the Lord of Crags? Either do it or don't. I have work to do. Do you require assistance, adventurer? So this is the one who would challenge Titan. I've been expecting you. The ingredient you seek is the egg of a giant adamantoise. The method of acquisition should be obvious. You steal it from the beast's nest, of course. Simple in theory, but difficult in execution. Most who try die in the attempt. Will I help you get it? You amuse me. I'll not jeopardise my position by openly assisting you. From me you will only receive information. What you do with it is your choice. Let me be clear, this business between you, me, and the captain must remain a secret. See, I don't regret my time spent with the company in the slightest. Travelling the world, meeting interesting people, killing them, it was all jolly good fun. Alas, Gridanians are, by and large, an unforgiving lot, Detto here being a rare exception. I've had to go to great lengths to ensure that I'm seen as a model citizen with no taste for drinking, whoring, gambling, and all those other activities I so dearly miss. So understand that if you ruin my little charade by wagging your tongue, I'll fashion a noose with your entrails and hang you from the nearest heavens pillar. Well, what are you waiting for? There's a perfectly good adamantoise egg and nest just to the east of here, just ripe for the taking. Not that I expect you to live long enough to claim it. Bahaha! The mother never strays far from the child, and you'll surely be attacked the moment you lay hands upon the egg. There will be other heroes. You do not need to challenge Titan. Abandon your quest, or your corpse will rot in this swamp. I thought you might have the good sense to leave this place. By your continued presence, I take it you intend to persevere to the bitter end. Ha ha ha! Such bravery, such recklessness. That will serve you well against Titan. Leave the egg with me. I'll see that it gets to the captain. You should make haste to southern Thanalan. In Forgotten Springs, you'll find a man named Oud Nun. He will be your next guide. Safe travels. State your business, adventurer. Ha! So this is the one ways Kate sends me. I'm not sure how to pronounce that name. I haven't the foggiest what he sees in you, and until I do, you'll receive no aid from me. Persistent bugger. Very well, let's have a look at you. You've seen your share of battle, there's no mistaking that, and you did manage to obtain the adamantoise egg. However, that was naught more than a display of brute force and blind courage. The nun I once fought also believed that his strength would save him. He was wrong, and now I am Nun. Many years ago I joined the company of heroes to hone my skills, instead of challenging my predecessor before I was ready. Even when I was young I understood that victory goes to the patient, the cunning, the pragmatic. That's why I claimed my position, it's why I still hold it, and it's why I will not help an unproven whelp. The children of the sands do not offer aid to strangers. To do so is a sign of weakness. However, if you are recognised as a skilled hunter in your own right, it would be permissible to assist you. Across the desert to the east lies an Amalja encampment. There dwells a warrior renowned both for his strength and his guile. To even face this Amalja in battle, you must first find a way to lure him away from the encampment. This will be your test, to draw out and defeat the veteran. For this I will offer you no advice, only this worn spear. Why, you ask? You'll have to solve that riddle yourself. Now go, slay this old warrior and bring me his necklace. Tell me, adventurer, is our old nemesis dead? 'Tis a fine necklace, as befits a veteran of countless battles. It'll make an excellent trophy. The spear, it belonged to one of his brothers. I knew when he spied it from afar he'd be unable to resist venturing outside the encampment to see for himself. Did you discern my intent, or was it dumb luck, I wonder? Either way, you impress me, adventurer. I shall tell you of the ingredient you seek. A shame we did not meet when I was still with the company of heroes. You would have made a fine recruit. But no point dwelling on what can be. You have a Welwick worm to hunt. Sandworms slither brazenly across the desert dunes, but Welwick worms are far fewer in number. Rarity breeds demand, and so their meat is highly prized as a delicacy. The only way to catch your quarry is to entice it with something it cannot resist. These worms prey on the smaller creatures of the Sagoli. A freshly slaughtered angler carcass would be my choice of bait. There's an area teeming with anglers to the east. I'll mark it upon your map, along with the location where Welwick worms are most frequently sighted. Be warned, the blood will drive the worm into a feeding frenzy. If your skills are lacking, it'll devour you as well. You look well. Have you caught your quarry then? Your skills as a hunter rival those of our best. I applaud your success. The meat will need to be heavily smoked before I ship it to Ways, Kate? Worry not, you have my word that he'll receive it in time for the banquet. You must be eager to obtain the third ingredient. I regret to say I know not of its location. For the nonce, you should return to Costa del Sol and seek Ways Kate's counsel. Ah, but hold a moment. Since you'll be meeting the captain again soon, there's something I'd like you to deliver to him for me. The captain was always fond of this brandewine. I'd be grateful if you could deliver it on my behalf. I was a reckless, angry youth when I first joined the company, and he would have been well within his rights to cast me out. Everything I have I owe to his wisdom and generosity. Ways Kate was a firm yet fair teacher, an expert moulder of men, and I suspect that it's still the case now. Please give him my regards. Well met. Landenel and Uold Nun both spoke highly of you. What brings you here today? Alcohol. Oh, my favourite. I shall have to thank the Nun personally. Now you have but one ingredient left. Fortunately, you'll not have to travel to Aldenard this time to obtain it. The things we do for cheese. Truth be told, I never intended for you to collect this last ingredient. Brayflox, my old quartermaster, wished to bring it to Costa del Sol herself. However, not long ago, she sent word that there's been some trouble at the long stop, and that the delivery would be delayed indefinitely. She told me nothing of the incident itself, but I fear the situation may be dire. Though I'd like nothing more than to aid her myself, I have no choice but to turn to you and your allies. Make haste to Hidden Falls Dock and speak with Ozen Nazan. He will direct you to Raincatcher Gully, where Brayflox and her people have made their home. What's the hurry, venturer? Something happen over at the Gobby settlement? I don't know why you're so eager to help a bunch of beastmen, but go and talk to the skipper over yonder. She'll ferry you to Raincatcher Gully. Tongue flaps of Ways Kate be reaching ears of Brayflox. Uplander has come from tasty fresh gobby treats, yes? Quest prize of Uplander deep in Longstop. Flighty beast chased Gobbyflock from homes. Gobbyflock needs goodly Uplander give safety to Longstop with much hand-lending. Goodly Uplander has thanks of Gobbyflock. Flighty beast was tricksy foe, but Uplander outwitted with plans making. Uplander has goodly head for fighty think. Brayflox happy gives tasty fresh gobby treats to clever Uplander. Cheese is stinky sweet gobby treat, special make with secret gobby arts. No party complete without gobby gouda. Brayflox every say. I gather you solved Brayflox's little problem. By the gods, that unholy stench. This is, definitely goblin cheese. Judging from the smell, this should be quite flavourful. How is it made? It's best you remain ignorant of such things. I still remember when I learned what kind of milk they use. Ugh. Bravo! Thanks to you, our guests shall be honoured with a marvellous banquet. But what good is an exotic feast without an equally exquisite aperitif? Luckily I know just the person to ask. Make your way to Wineport and seek out Shamani Lamani, another former member of the company. All you have to do is give him this order slip. He'll take care of the rest. Oh, and if you're wondering if this is merely a ploy to test your patience, I assure you I do actually need that wine. And while you're there, give Shamani Lamani my regards. Sweat, grime and blood. Aye, you reek of blood. An adventurer, unless I'm mistaken. What brings you to Wineport? An order? Let me guess. A request for the finest vintage I can muster. The paper smells of loam and perfume. Costa del Sol. And there's also the unmistakable odour of goblin cheese. Yes, Master Gegaruju would not settle for anything less than the best. Dreiswitz and his crew must be quite busy preparing an exotic feast, hence his decision to rely on an adventurer. Ah, perhaps you're confused. This display of deduction was not intended to impress you. When one loses his vision, he's forced to compensate in other ways. But you've no interest in my affairs. You only wish to discuss the wine, I suspect. Life can be so delightfully unpredictable. I always had a passion for wine, but it wasn't until I was forced to retire that I could pursue it as more than a mere hobby. It wouldn't have been possible if not for the savings I amassed during my time as a mercenary, of course. Say what you will about the nature of that work, none can deny that it pays well. Ah, but you grow impatient, and Kate must have his wine. Herein lies the problem. Nothing in my possession is of sufficient quality for this occasion. The best vintages in town are hoarded by Bierglaint, who owns and operates the largest winery in Weilbrand. Somehow I doubt he'll be receptive to your request, but given these circumstances, we must needs beg his assistance. What rank amateur bottled this wine? The impurities have rendered it nigh undrinkable. Dismissal is too good for the man responsible. He should be made to drink every drop of this polluted swill. What is it? I'm in the middle of an important discussion and I do not care for interruptions. That neophyte vintner bids you speak with me. Ha! Neither you nor your friend has the palate to appreciate the subtle qualities of my private stock. I would sooner serve you Gubu urine than sell you my worst vintage. Be gone from my sight. I take it he said no. Really, in those words? Well, I cannot say that I'm surprised. While there's no denying his passion and skill, the wine baron of Limsa is not a man known for his tact. Very well, we shall have to take an alternative approach. There is a chance, however small, that another resident of Wineport can furnish us with a suitable wine. In fact, had you come several years ago, I guarantee this would not be a problem. Alas, the quality of our product has declined significantly in recent years. The only breeds cultivated these days are common lowland vines, which isn't to say that their grapes are of poor quality, only that we have known better. Long ago, the vignerons of Wineport crossbred several species and produced a grape-bearing vine of never-before-seen quality. Bacchus grapes were once the pride of this town, as they were used to produce vintages which surpassed all others. This includes the most aromatic, the most complex, the most flavourful of all wines. Aye, the legendary Bacchus wines were born right here in Wineport. Pardon my enthusiasm. You see, I once had the privilege to sample that particular wine. It was an otherworldly experience. In that moment, I felt as though I had tasted the nectar of the gods themselves. I transcended my mortal flesh, and I was one with all creation. But as is all too often said, the calamity changed that. The Bacchus vineyards were completely destroyed, along with much of the existing stock of Bacchus wine. What little remains is closely guarded by its owners, for it can no longer be made. If we cannot convince Bierglaint to part with his wines, our next best option, as ridiculous as it sounds, is to find someone who has a bottle of Bacchus wine and to offer them every gill we can spare. I've heard rumours that one of the vignerons tending the vineyards might have once owned a bottle. Perhaps you could start by speaking with them. What? Do I have Bacchus wine? I wish. I never had the chance to try it myself. Sorry, friend, but you're a few years too late. Bacchus wine? Bah, don't remind me. Used to have a cellar filled with the stuff. Thought I could keep the wine safe from thieves and the elements. Never counted on a bloody primal blowing up my goddamned house. No luck, Most regrettable, but we had to try. But Bacchus wine would have been perfect for the occasion. Though I must confess, my certitude would be due in part to my personal history with the beverage. It is, after all, the very reason I decided to become a vintner. After Titan blinded me in our battle beneath Ogomero, I fell into a deep depression. It wasn't until I tasted Bacchus wine for the first time that I realised there was still so much I could experience, even in my condition. It helped me to find a new direction in life. It breaks my heart to think that the wondrous ambrosia which once filled me with hope may be forever lost to us. I must say, this talk of Bacchus wine has made me rather nostalgic. Indeed, there's much I miss about my life with the company of heroes. After everything the captain has done for me, I could not bear to disappoint him. Ay, have no fear. I swear that I shall find a suitable wine for the banquet, though I may need some time to think of a solution. In the meantime, there's a favour I would ask of you. 2 years ago, in the deepest depths of my despair, I stumbled across Filebrand as a vagabond drunk. I suspect I was looking for a place to die, because I very nearly found one not far from here. It was there that a man named Drest took me in and nursed me back to health, and it was he who gave me my first taste of Bacchus wine, which helped me to find my new calling. Though I'm still a novice in the arts of winemaking, I would like him to know that I'm pursuing my dream. This wine is my own original creation, and I would be most grateful if you delivered it to him in my stead. Drest sometimes works at the Raincatcher Gully docks, so perhaps Ritzgilt can tell you where to find him. Drest? Oh, you mean the hermit? Aye, I toss him a few gil when we need an extra pair of hands. He doesn't talk about himself, and I sure as hell don't ask. When a man's got a face with scars like that, you best leave well enough alone, I say. If you've a mind to find him, though, then head southwest to the Severed String. What? What do you want? Wine? I didn't ask for this. Who sent you? I can't sleep. They won't let me sleep. The midges, the buzzing, it keeps me awake. I never wanted to hurt anyone. I won't fight. I don't want to fight. Please make the buzzing stop. Make the midges go away. It's not so loud anymore. Did you do that? Thank you. You helped me, even after what my comrades and I did to your country. We were on a reconnaissance mission where the maelstrom caught us by surprise. We tried to escape, but the others, no one else survived. I didn't ask for this, damn it. I'm not even Garlean. They conquered my lands just like they tried to conquer yours. I don't want to die in some blasted jungle halfway around the world. I just want to go home. I wish to thank Shamani for the wine. That was overly kind. Would you be willing to bear a gift back to him? Earlier today at Red Mantis Falls, I collected the sap from nearby palm trees. If placed in coconut shells and stored for a few bells' time, it makes a fine wine. See, it should be ready by now. I left 3 shells out there. Please take them to Shamani for me. I'm glad he's moved on with his life. I hope to one day do the same. It's been some time. What news do you have of Drest? Ah yes, I recall he did have some knowledge of winemaking, a simplistic but nevertheless effective method that utilises the natural properties of palm sap. I shall have to enjoy this batch before it spoils. We're not so different, Drest and I, 2 men who have long struggled not to let our scars define us. I worry that he's been alone with his thoughts for far too long. Aye, it's past time I paid him a visit. Thank you for looking after him. By the gods! Listen, I know you're eager to wash your hands of this wine business, but I've just discovered something extraordinary about Drest's palm wine. He sealed each coconut shell with a leaf which has a very distinct shape and unusual odour. I thought I was going mad at first, but now I'm certain. These are the leaves of a Bacchus grapevine. Do you know what this means? Somewhere in Raincatcher Gully, the legendary vine still grows. If we could obtain a cutting, we could revive the Bacchus wine industry. We must know where Drest found these leaves. Here, take one of them back to him and see what he remembers. Oh, hello again. What is it? It's just a leaf, isn't it? I only chose it because it was pretty. Didn't know it was rare. I found them near the Juggernaut to the south, but I didn't see any grapevines. I saw fresh gubu tracks, though. Maybe those leaves came from vines growing out of the back of one such beast. If you go looking for it, please be careful. Some gubus are more territorial than others, and you may have to defend yourself. What did Drest have to say? Tell me everything. Aha! I was right. This smell, this texture. I hold in my hands a Bacchus grapevine cutting. Come now, enough of this nonsense. I've heard talk of your discovery, and I refuse to believe that a common adventurer and a novice vintner could... 12 as my witness. It is a Bacchus grapevine. Wherever did you find this fantastic specimen? What? You would offer this to me? But why? There is none better positioned to reconstruct the Bacchus vineyards than you, Master Bioglane. You have the resources, the knowledge, and the passion to do so. It would be selfish of me to keep this cutting. I never knew you cared so deeply about your craft. Thank you, good sir. I'll not squander this gift. In just a few years' time, I swear that every tavern across Eorzea will once again be clamouring for a cask of Wineport's legendary Bacchus wine. Sir, you needn't... Wait, the shape of this bottle, the scent of this label, this couldn't possibly be. A 1547 Bacchus? But that's impossible. This vintage has not been seen since years before the calamity. It was the crown jewel of my personal collection. For years I debated opening it, wondering if today or tomorrow would be the ideal time. But now I realise that it was never meant for me. It should be savoured by the saviours of Wineport, I say. He has made us an offer we cannot refuse. Master Gegaruju will find no finer wine. You have forever changed Wineport. Thank you for your kindness and your generosity. But do not permit me to delay you any longer. Pray deliver the wine to Captain Vice Kate. Well, yes, I would very much like to drink it, but I'm a patient man. I have faith that one day I shall have another opportunity to taste perfection. Your prolonged absence was beginning to concern me, so what of the wine I asked you to bring? Is that? 7 hells, a 1547 Bacchus. Even I know how rare that is. I have to admit, I didn't think you had it in you, but congratulations. Thanks to you, this will be the most luxurious feast Costa del Sol has seen in years. Considering the lengths you went to, I hope our guests appreciate it. Speaking of which, your associate arrived a short while ago. She appears to be growing somewhat impatient. Perhaps you could tell her that the banquet is about to begin. You have the look of a woman who's been to the 7th hell and back. That a guest should be expected to supply the victuals for a banquet held in her honour, and this while the shadow of Titan looms over us all. It beggars belief. I can only applaud your stoicism. Had I been asked to endure such ignominy, I fear I would have accepted my lot with less grace. Lady Y'shtola. 1,000 pardons for this extreme discourtesy. I was wholly unaware of your true identity, madam. Had I known, I would never have permitted my man to subject you to such unspeakable ordeals. Come now, she must have sensed something was amiss. You didn't seriously think I would send you running the length and breadth of Eorzea for a banquet, did you? Spare her your mockery, Captain. Your intent was unclear to me until this moment, and unlike me, she has no knowledge of your traditions. Mayhap you would be so good as to enlighten her. Aye, fair's fair. There's no sense hiding it any longer. We 5 were chosen by our brothers and sisters, and before the company of heroes disbanded, we each swore a solemn oath that any who would follow in our footsteps must be weighed and measured, not by their reputation, but by their deeds. Each man would judge these would-be godslayers by his own criteria. If even one found her wanting, she would be rejected without a second thought. But if she proved herself worthy, we swore that we would do our utmost to support her cause. The world has ever been full of brave souls, eager to give their lives for a righteous cause, but all too few capable of making a difference with their sacrifice. To send wave after wave of hapless adventurers into the jaws of a foe against whom they have no hope of victory is worse than futile. Titan is not one to be challenged lightly, and we will not be complicit in the deaths of the unworthy. Which is why the 5 of you deigned to test her with such commendable thoroughness. Time well spent, I'm sure. But tell us, Captain, what is the assessment of you and your fellows? She's a brave one, that much is certain. She willingly walked into the midst of danger, despite my repeated warnings that it could cost her her life. Her skill is undeniable. She stalked her prey as relentlessly as any child of the sands, and struck with precision when an opportunity presented itself. Too many adventurers these days care only for fortune and glory. She, however, is a kind and generous soul. I'm certain she has no shortage of loyal allies who will gladly fight at her side. Wily Uplander is talentful plansmaker, tricksy foe for mighty rockman. I can only concur with my colleagues' assessments. We 5 of the Company of Heroes hereby judge you a worthy challenger, cast down the Lord of Crags, and write a new chapter in the history of Eorzea. With the formalities out of the way, let the festivities begin. Some of the dancers, pour the wine. Eat, drink, and be merry, my friends, for today we celebrate the birth of a new legend. Congratulations, sweetling. Now relax and enjoy the show. It's only just begun. Tasting the exotic feast triggers a divine revelation. In that brief, transcendent moment, you glimpse the true form of reality, comprehend its fleeting nature, and cry out to the heavens in celebration. When you face the Lord of Crags, think not of Limsa Lominsa, Eorzea, or anything beyond his chamber. Think only of the men and women by your side. Fight for them and they will fight for you. Remember that no greater victory was ever achieved alone. You brave fool, promise me that when you meet Titan, you'll look him in the eye and tell him Landenel sends his regards. Goodly Uplander must be facing mighty Rockman with clever fighty think. Gobbyflock cannot be coming to rescue this time. You're a veteran of countless battles. This is but one more. Trust in your experience and you will prevail. You're blessed with the fortitude to rival the earth itself. Titan will struggle to break you, I think. You're kind to indulge them. This banquet is as much for the company as it is for you, whatever they may claim. I do not deny that they mean well, but now is scarcely the time for celebration. Though they have all but pronounced you the victor, the battle with Titan is yet to begin. The hour has come for the good captain to make good on his promise. We must speak with him again. You must be eager to face Titan. As promised, we'll show you the way. Travel to Bronze Lake in Upper Lanossia. There you will meet with Riol, another man who once served with the company. To ensure that this knowledge does not fall into the wrong hands, he'll remain in hiding until you have given the correct signal. Give me your map. You must whistle loudly at the 3 locations I mark. Only then will he appear to meet you at this 4th location. I realise this may seem excessive now, but you'll see that it's more than reasonable once you comprehend the risks inherent in our method.